I wanted to give a quick tutorial on how to do the dream board in case you're not familiar with Canva, and also how I came up with ideas for the word of the year. And so there's different templates here that you can use. So the first thing I ask you to do is just make sure you hit file and make a copy. Otherwise, what will happen is you will be editing the original template. And so everyone's able to kind of see what you do, which of course we want to be able to share, but we don't want to accidentally edit out someone else's dream board. And so there are different versions that you can use. I went with these two, and so I'll just kind of do a quick walkthrough of how I came up with the dream board here. And so this one kind of focuses on a word of the year. And this is a concept I actually adapted from Lara Casey, where she just really pressed on the importance and significance of living from a place your entire year, and having a word for it that kind of roots you and reminds you of what your intention is for the year. And so this is something I really prayed over last year. My word of the year was actually rest. And who knew going into 2020 was that that word would actually be something that I would have to live out. And so this year, my word of the year is actually heart. And for me, that is living my life more aligned and making sure my decisions are from a place that is heart centered and more feeling space, and not necessarily always looking at the logistics of things, but more so making sure I'm in alignment with who I am, and making sure that, again, it is in alignment with my heart. And so if you go down to the second dream board, I have my why statement, which is heart-centered living that spills into every area of my life. And so on the second board, instead of a word of the year, it has my why statement, and then the focus word, which is, I guess, kind of like word of the year. So this one is just physical. So physical is anything you want to do to feel better. For me, I made it a goal for this year to actually complete the bar blend exercise program that's inside of Beachbody. I started on that program last summer, and then I lost momentum and I never finished it. And so I really would like to be able to say at the end of the year that I did complete that program, simply because heading into 2021, I actually am starting out with something a lot less intense. And so I'm doing yoga, as well as a lot more like Pilates type of work right now. And so right now I'm working on just making sure I do those things. The next one is mental. And so this has to do with making sure you're taking care of your mental health. For me, I love reading a lot of books on business and productivity, a lot of self-help book in that sense, that is more driven towards reaching a specific business goal or even personal development. And so I want to read more heart-centered books. And so with that, I'll actually move over here. I have like the Book of Joy, that I listened to the audio, but I actually haven't finished reading the book. Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown. And then I have the Desire Map by Danielle Laporte. And so I haven't actually read her book yet, and I'm really interested to dive in. And so that is my goal, is making sure I read one heart-centered book a month. And I also want to make sure I wake up and journal. And so the concept of journaling that I actually use is write, shift, and script. And so I share the process with you inside of the Teachable program. And this was actually how I learned how to journal more with intention. I am and that is something I learned from Rachel Luna, who is my life and business coach. If you're not following her on Instagram, she's very active on there at the moment. And so again, her name is Rachel Luna. The next step here is spiritual. And so in that category, I have just making sure I commit to my devotions daily, and then making sure that I pray and meditate in the morning, just to come, I guess, live out the rest of the day from a place of gratitude, because I can easily become very stressed out or there's just a million things happening at once. And so starting out with prayer and meditation really helps to set my heart, get my heart prepared for the rest of the day. The next category I have is family. And so for our family in particular, before COVID, we made it kind of like a habit where we would actually go on vacation. So looking back into 2019, we actually took a trip or a mini vacation almost every quarter. And I just remember that year just being amazing. Just looking at all the different adventures we went to. We didn't necessarily go far. I know for a lot of people, when they think travel, they think of like getting on a plane or doing a cruise. But for us, it was just more locally to different places that were maybe like a couple hours away, not too far. And so just even taking day trips will be fun. Um, and then under family, so I consider like my friends, especially my best friends, extensions of my family. And it is so important for me to make sure I'm more intentional with my relationships with them. And so on here, I have a monthly coffee date or get together with my best friends. And so even if I have to do FaceTime to do coffee, but ideally hoping to get together with them at least once a month will be a lot of fun. The next I have is financial. And so financial is really up to you. If you know my financial story at all, I definitely started from a place of scarcity. And so I'm very familiar with the scarcity mindset and where you feel lack everywhere. I'm very blessed and fortunate that now we are on the other side of that. And I have a very different outlook on money, and I see things from a place of abundance, but that took a very long time for me to get there. And so for someone who is not I guess is not quite there yet, if you look at this, you may kind of roll your eyes a little bit. But for us, this is realistic. And so our goal is to make sure that we save an extra $1,300 a month with the idea of eventually getting our first rental property. If that is something you're interested in learning more about, just let me know. I'm happy to kind of share what our plans are as far as creating a legacy for our children and kind of looking at different ways we can do that moving forward this year. So let's see if I can make this bigger so you guys can see more of it. And then we have over here, just one of my favorite quotes is, what do you plan to do with this one wild and precious life? And that for me is at the forefront of how I guess I just kind of do life. I know that, we're always going to have our seasons, ups and downs with our children, and we definitely don't know what to expect. But just remembering that when it's all said and done, right? Like if I was to die tomorrow, did I live a good life? Was I intentional? Did I love my family well? Did I spend time with the people who mattered most? Did I do what I said I was going to do? And I can honestly say, especially now that things, I'm actually able to do what I really love, which is being a part of this membership and then just connecting with other moms who have children with special needs. I'm able to work with heart-centered entrepreneurs and coaches. Just those are things that are very meaningful for me. And in ministry, being able to serve and impact people that way, those are all things I really enjoy doing. And so I am able to do what I really enjoy and have the opportunity to meet so many amazing people. So yeah. Let's see, moving along, things I want. So these are just desires, you kind of want what you want. And so I want you guys to kind of just think big. And it's okay if no one's judging you. You don't have to share anything. So it's okay if you don't want to share, or if you just put things on here and you're like, well, I'm not sure about it. That's completely fine. You want what you want, and just, be honest about what it is that you want. Because a lot of times where it's not only just fear of failure, but it's also fear of success, right? Because when you're successful at certain things, sometimes you wonder, well, what is this person going to think? How would that affect my relationships? Things of that nature. But again, you don't have to share this with anyone. You can just share with the group or just have it in your bedroom wall, but whatever it is, you just want to make sure you declare it so you can go after it. So for me, things I really want this year is in making sure we explore new places. I would love to go on more adventures to my family. Ultimately, I would really like a new house. Our house, even though I am so blessed to have a place to call our own, having a bigger place would be great just because our family is growing. I want to be able to give generously to organizations that matters to me. For me, I'm sure you probably came across it, but Compassion International is a really great organization. They do not exactly the same work as Operation Underground Railroad, but they go about it differently, and so they work on creating systems in place for the communities in rural, like third world countries, and so that way they're able to support and sustain themselves um, in that economy and wherever they are, as opposed to the on the boots kind of work that Operation Underground Railroad does. But it still has an effect because when those families are now able to sustain themselves, then their child isn't brought into that world of like sex trafficking. And so that work it's deeply, there's just something about it that just really is important to me, and I want to be able to impact more lives. And I do that through not only, serving you guys and then having my blog and now my YouTube channel, but impacting more lives with the money that is given to me. I really do believe in stewardship. I don't believe that I own any of my own money. I believe that it's God's money. And so I want to be able to be generous with it and impact more lives with the money that He has entrusted to me. And so, yeah, the next one here is activities to try. So this one for me is, as you may have seen, I launched a YouTube channel, so I'm pretty excited about it. Just learning how to do like all the different pieces of it. That should be interesting. And then last but not least, make it happen. Places to visit. And so for us, this is actually Long Beach, Washington. We actually haven't been there as a family, so we're pretty excited. And then we also have Mount Rainier, which is not too far from where I live. And so yeah, that would be kind of how I came up with the idea of what I put into each different category. And again, you're not familiar with Canva, it's pretty easy. So like if I have a picture here, you would just take another picture and kind of like, oh, sorry, that's a template. Let's say you wanted another photo. You can use one of their photos. I really like ones that I come up with. So typically I would upload a photo. So you would just go to upload and then upload media. So, and then you'll kind of put on here. So, yeah, that's pretty much how Canva works. And let me see if there's anything on here that is a little different. Actually, now that let me see. So now there's this other version. It just really depends on which version you like. You could print it out once you're done. So this one just has, you're able to have more pictures on there, and then it also goes into business and career. So for me, business-wise, is making sure that I use my planner every day, so my days are more intentional. This is the exact planner I use, and so this image was not random at all. It is the Blueprint Model Planner, and it is by Shauna Skidmore, and I worked with her not this past year. She actually closed her business down for the year and went on a sabbatical. She'll be coming back next year. But I worked with her the year before, and so she is the developer of this specific planner, and it's a entire system to it. And this one is actually a picture from inside of the sisterhood, so you probably have seen it at some point. And then this one's actually a little different because it does have an affirmation, and for me it says, don't get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. And so as someone who can easily find work from anywhere she is, I can easily be wrapped up in my own head and kind of lose track of what's happening around me. And so this just serves as a reminder for me to make sure that I am pouring into what matters most. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.